good evening, everyone. What we have started with is trying to understand what a new IDE like Google Colab looks like. And the steps are: open this page, collab.google. I already pinged you the link of that. Go to new notebook. It will ask you to sign in using your Google account, and then you can open a new notebook like this. And the look and feel of this IDE is very similar to the local version of Jupyter Notebook that we have been working on, which is this one. And probably we can spend a few minutes understanding what are the advantages or what are the differences, first of all, between what we have been working on, which is this version, offline one, and the Google Colab version. And I want to show you that in our Google Drive, where I have been sharing all the files. Okay. And this should be familiar to all of you, right? This is the location that I've already shared with all of you. And I'll go to first folder where I'm storing all the notebooks developed in the live session. And I will open the latest one, right? So when I double click this file, it will open it as a Jupyter Notebook only, right? And I just did that, and it opened a new tab. So now it is opening the entire file in a Jupyter Notebook of Google. Now look at this file and look at the file that I developed in this session. The content is exactly same. Initial points which were developed in the last session, and the same file, if you're able to see here, content is exactly same. The code exactly is same, but the way it is displayed is same. And let's now understand why do we need to have something like a Google Colab? Why is it better, or is it better or not? I want to go to that. Okay, so first thing I want to show you is that in this environment, Google Colab, there is this button on the left, right? And if I click this, it shows me the structure of this notebook, right? Again, I'll repeat the steps. If I click on this icon, it shows me the structure, which is in this entire notebook. What are the markdowns? And do look at on the left-hand side. I can quickly just scroll down based on this. Whereas any menu like this is not there in my local version. Okay, and you can try that yourself at this point. In your local file, Jupyter Notebook, there is no menu. You have to scroll down, right? And this is, I think, very raw approach. Okay, this is not very refined. Whereas in Google Colab, you have this menu, and I can just click on a specific item. Let's say I want to go to this example of finding the first n prime numbers. Just click it, and I reach there directly. Right? Why do I reach there directly? Because there is a specific markdown with that same name. I'm trying to highlight it. For some reason, it is not highlighting. And I was trying to highlight this text. Okay, so this text is originally a markdown which I added in the notebook, and in Google Colab it starts showing on this menu on the left. Now, why do you think this could be useful? This is more organized, right? This menu, if you have access to, this is more organized. And in real world projects, the codes are going to be very large. There will be thousands of lines. So you want to look at the topics, right? The sections, the subsections, and the levels within to quickly understand, okay, where do I need to exactly go to? And this also gives you a structure of the code. Otherwise, you have to read through each and every line, right? If I were to understand all of this code, probably a top summary will help me, and then I have to go through each and every line. Okay, so what you should start doing is any code file that I provide to you on Google Drive, right? Try to access it using Google Colab only. Okay, because you will have access to this left menu, table of contents, and you will quickly understand that these are the different topics that have been covered. And I want to go to a specific one. Let's quickly scroll down, hit that, and then it takes me to the specific section in the notebook. Okay. And these are again not magical texts, right? What I'm showing on the left, these are not magical, right? You don't need to do something very extraordinary to get these. These are simple markdowns, right? Simple markdowns that we added in our previous session. So I added some of these while coding in the live session last time, whereas the rest of them were added after, because I prepared these notebooks for you to read, which is where I added a lot of markdowns. And if I double click on this, it is just simple formatting, hashes, and then some bit of quotes so that it appears as a markdown. And I believe everyone knows what a markdown is. Can I expect that? Can I assume everyone knows that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, I'll not go into each and every basic, but I can show you how it is used in real world. And one good use case of that is how Markdown is really helpful is it allows you to create this table of content. Okay. And quickly you can also copy or delete also. For example, you can collapse also. And one more very cool thing is you can collapse these sections. For example, anything that I'm showing under assignment operator, I can just collapse this. So my notebooks become more concise. And often people use this for presentations. So often at times client wants to see, okay, tell me, just walk me through your code. So they don't want to show each and every detail, right? They don't want to show each and every code and its output. So what they prefer is, let's first collapse everything, something like this, and then just let the client go through the workflow. And whenever it is required, then we can deep dive, we can expand a certain button. For example, this could be the first view for the client. Okay, I hope this is still visible to you. So when you're walking a client through your project or your code, this could be the first view. And then you can go to a specific item by expanding this. And slowly and gradually, based on client's question, you can do further expansion, you can further deep dive. Right, so this is very cool in terms of managing everything. There are sections and subsections and all that. And then there are a few other things, and I'll just quickly show you one more cool feature because there are a lot of them, and gradually we'll get to know of them one by one. So one more cool feature is, in fact, before even I go there, let me ask you, when you run the code on your local Jupyter Notebook, what do you think gets used? Is it CPU, GPU, or something else? It's CPU. Why? Because all of this installation, Anaconda, Jupyter Notebook, is installed on your system. But for advanced models, for example, deep learning and all that, it requires more computation, more compute, which is where CPU will not suffice, right? You may be able to purchase a more sophisticated, a more robust system with 32 GB of RAM and all that, but still you may run out of space and processing power. But in Google Colab, there is an option. So if I go to runtime and if I go to change runtime type, then it allows me to select these different options. Okay, I'll repeat my steps. Runtime, change runtime type, and then this appears. And by default, it selects CPU. Okay, and then I have provision to select this GPU or TPU based processing. So usually how people use these options is when they are developing a deep learning model and it requires heavy duty processing, then they change from CPU to GPU, and that speeds up your code. That allows the model to get trained faster compared to a CPU based environment. So this is one more feature where Google Colab allows you to use GPU based processing or TPU based processing free of charge. Again, to a certain extent, it's not infinite, but to a certain extent, it does give you some boost. Does that give you some insights, people?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So which is where extra knowledge of extra IDs is also helpful. And Google Colab is one very cool environment. And I'll show you later on more features. There are a lot of other features also. Okay. So one recommendation to everyone is whatever files I'm sharing with you, ensure that all of these you're able to open in Google Colab. Okay. And it's kind of simple. Just double click this and it might ask you for your Gmail login. Do that. Or you can take all these files in your Google Drive also, right? You can just make a copy of these files. For example, right click, make a copy, and just store all of these files in your own Google Drive folder. This is my personal Google Drive folder, right? You can copy these files, take to your own, and then open them from there.